साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुर्पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरुर्कृपा। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Jai Gurudev. Welcome everyone to our wonderful little center of Chembur. We are on chapter 5, as you all know, and we have done how many? 19 shlokas. But before we start, let's chant. We'll start from 10th shloka and we'll go on till 22. Vasudeva sutam devam कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ पञ्चमोऽध्यायः। ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि संगत्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यन्तेन स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा। कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति संगं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये। युक्तकर्म फलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्। अयुक्तकामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते। सर्वकर्माणि मनसा संन्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी। नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्। न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः। न कर्मफलसंयोगम् स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते। नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं na chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitamatmanaha tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam tadbuddhayastadatmana tannishtastatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha vidya vinasya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva shvapake cha pandita samadarshinaha ihaiva terjita sargo yesham samye sthitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te sthitaha na prahashyet priyam prapya no dvijet prapya cha priyam sthira buddhira sammudho brahma vid brahmanya sthitaha bahya sparsheshva saktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddhaha. Om Tat Sat. So Adhyaay 5, Karma Sannyas Yoga. That's the title of the Adhyaay. You know that each Adhyaay is a yoga, a technique of yoga, a technique for union with the divine. Different ways in which you can unite with the divine, merge with Brahma. So karma, you know, means work, action. Sannyas, you know, means renunciation. Yoga means union. So the way, the technique to unite by renouncing karma or doing karma with renunciation. You can take it either way. Renouncing karma or doing karma with renunciation. So we can see whichever way it works, both ways it is going to be the same. So it's about action. So there are 3 ways in which one can perform actions. In the beginning, we always perform actions to fulfill some desire. So they are desire prompted actions. We do a puja, we do a yagna, or just normal actions, day-to-day actions for fulfilling some desire, for fulfilling some goal. It could be any action. Nitya karma means our puja, or vyavaharik actions. These are good because we are doing it to fulfill some desire. Then the desire gets fulfilled. There is a use for this kind of action also, because it increases our shraddha in a higher power. Because of that fulfillment, we feel, oh wow, there is someone here, some higher power that is helping me fulfill my desire. If one goes into the sadhanas that are prescribed, and generally that would happen after satsangs and interactions with the teachings is fulfilled, then one realizes a second type of action is also possible. That means performing the action just as one's duty. because it's my responsibility to do it. It is my dharma to do it. And then when we do the actions with that kind of bhav, we call it karma yog bhav. That means without karta bhav, without bhokta bhav, doing it according to our ashram and according to our varna, and not expecting a particular result only to come. We accept whatever comes along with prasad buddhi. So now what's the use of this kind of action? You know what is the use? Chitta Shuddhi. We purify our antakaran. This kind of action results, the benefit is we purify our antakaran. When our antakaran has been purified and we have reached a certain level of Shuddhi, then the third kind of action becomes possible. We can call it contemplative action or meditative action, simply called meditation in general terms. So this has to be done as a third kind of progress in our sadhana, where we are not disturbed by any stimuli outside us. You're closing your eyes, you're not suddenly getting disturbed by some sounds, you're not getting disturbed by smells, you're not getting disturbed by itching, neither are you disturbed by any internal vritti that is rising. Sometimes we are able to find a place which is completely secluded, completely quiet, completely disturbance free. But that doesn't ensure that we will be disturbance free, because when everything outside is so quiet, the internal vrittis start acting up. So when will these internal vrittis get silenced? When? I'm asking you. When you have done that purification, when you have done the purification, then only the internal vrittis will get silenced. They will be quiet. They will be completely trained to stay in place. Okay? So this Adhyaay, which we are doing now, the 5th Adhyaay, it's taking us gradually from desire prompted actions, which is in the beginning, first few Adhyays, to the 6th Adhyaay, which will be completely devoted to meditation. So this is a transition Adhyaay from desire prompted action to desire less action to meditation. And meditation 6th Adhyaay is going to be devoted entirely to meditation. So it's a gradual preparation. It cannot just happen immediately. Like you suddenly start hearing that there is a satsang and now you are interested in the spiritual journey, and now you say, I will start meditating. Nahi hota hai. Means hota hai, but what is the benefit we don't know. So it's 1, 2 and 3. Desire prompted, desire free, meditation. If you start directly jumping into meditation, you can do. Nobody is going to stop you. It doesn't matter. And you can, okay, you can meditate for many various reasons also. The kind of meditation we are talking about here is to attain Brahma. So you can have meditation to relax by all means. You can do meditation to improve your health. You can do meditation to, become free of stress. You can meditate to even fulfill some goal. The law of attraction and all that. You can do all those things. But if you are trying to attain Brahma, if you are trying to contemplate on Brahma, there is a preparation involved. And then that process is a gradual one if you want it to be successful. Alright, so last time we did Shloka 17 also, yeah? So there, it starts with some kind of input for a sadhak who has completed the purification process. So no longer are we talking about karma yoga and purification. From 17, we assume sadhak has completed the purification process. And now the 17th shloka is teaching us directly the process of actually merging. So as you know, we did it last time. First, what happens? The mind and the intellect gets absorbed in Brahma. This is in Shlok 17, right? Then it has to get established constantly, not a flash in the pan, not just once, constantly. You have to be established in that. And when that happens perfectly, when that is mastered, then merging with Brahma through aparoksh anubhuti. So that was 17. Now assuming you have had that experience, you have established, you have merged, so you have become one with Brahma. So what will be the vision of the one who is merged with Brahma? We have learned that you will be in equanimous vision. Your vision will be equanimous. It will see everyone as one. And we had some examples there. The Brahman, who is symbolic here of someone who is highly sattvic. Then we said Gavi, cow, who is probably the most sattvic of all animals, but it has still some rajas and it is not yet fully sattvically mature. Then we had Hastini, elephant. So we have gone into rajas. Then we had dog, and then we had eater of flesh. So going into tamas. So one who is a yogi, one who is established in Brahma, merged with Brahma, he will see all these kinds of people, all these kinds of situations, all these kinds of experiences with one vision, equanimous vision, not judging one better than the other. Why? Why? Why?
There is no other. There is no other.
Anything else? Why? Why will he see everyone as one? He sees the gunas playing among gunas. He sees that outside the gunas are at work, within it's only one. So he doesn't see the outside achar, he doesn't see the outside behavior, he sees the oneness which is really who you are. And then Shlok 19, which is the last one which we did. Now he has merged with Brahma, so we can call him a Jivan Mukta, one who has been liberated while living itself, not after death. Such a yogi will be a Jivan Mukt. Over here itself is the way it has been said. Alright, so this Jivan Yukta, this yogi, he will not be just running towards Sattva. He will not be running away from Rajas and Tamas. He is established in that highest goal. He doesn't need to run away from anything. He doesn't have to run to anything. He is, wherever he is still. He is still. He is stable. So that's where we stopped last time. Let's go ahead now, I think, with 20. We'll chant it again. All together. Na prahashyet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam, sthira buddhira sammudho, brahmavid brahmani sthitaha. He who, with firm intellect and free from doubt, rejoices not on obtaining what is pleasant and does not feel perturbed on meeting with the unpleasant, that knower of Brahma lives eternally in identity with Brahma. Alright, so let's do the meanings first. Brahmavid. Brahmavid, knower of Brahma. Vid always stands for knowledge. Brahma, you know. So, knower of Brahma. Sthita, who is established. Brahmani, in Brahma. So the knower of Brahma, who is established in Brahma, sthira buddhi, should have his intellect steady, or will have a steady intellect. Sthira buddhi. What else will he have? Asammudha. He will not be deluded. He will not have doubt. He will be free from doubt. Moodha, you know that word, na? Moodha, dull. Asammudha. Na praharshyeta, should not get delighted or will not get delighted. Na praharsheta. The first two words, the first word and the half of the second word of the first line. Should not get delighted or will not get delighted. Prapya, by getting. Priyam, that which is desirable. So up to here, the knower of Brahma, who is established in Brahma, will have a steady intellect, he will be free from doubt, and he will not get delighted when he gets something that is desirable, what he wants. Cha, and no dvijet prapya, surely he will not get dejected by getting. Surely he will not get dejected by getting apriyam, undesirable. What is undesirable? Easy? Clear? So as we said last shloka, Samadarshini, the one who is happy with all kinds of situations, sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. Now in this shloka, 4 more lakshans are there of the, you can say, sthita prajna or the yogi or the Samadarshini. His intellect is firm. He is free from doubt. He is not going to rejoice in getting whatever is pleasant, and he is not going to be dejected if he doesn't get what is pleasant. Now, why is it that all of us can't be like this? So this is when someone is established in the highest purpose of life. But what is preventing all of us from having all these lakshans? Mostly it is because most people have not yet determined the goal of their life. We are simply floating through life. We don't have a goal. We have goals for business. We have goals for career. We may have goals for health. We may have goals for our children. Right? What else? We can have goals for our relationships. But what about our whole life? How about a spiritual goal also? That is lacking. in most people, not those who are satsangis, they at least they know they have a spiritual goal, but I'm saying generally, people will miss that. It will be a lack. And even let's say you have understood you should have a goal for life, and many satsangis also now know, okay, let's make a goal. Because Ma keeps saying you have to have a goal, you have to have a goal. So, naam ke vaste to goal is there. But there is no priority for that goal, because there are so many other issues in life. There are so many things which seem to be more important in life. I mean, I have to feed the family, I have to do this, I have to do that. The spiritual goal is the one that always gets the jhatka. If anything has to be dropped, it will be the satsang. If there's a sickness in the family, if there's a business trip, if there is whatever wedding to be attended to, the satsang will drop, not the other things. So, because there is no priority, or the importance of the spiritual goal is not understood or not given priority, it is no wonder then that these lakshans will not get established in us, right? There will always be a dilemma. Shall I do this or shall I do that? There will always be a fluctuation. There will always be a sankalp and a vikalp. And there will also be reactions. There will always be some reactions to situations. So, a wise man, as we are told, that person will not have these issues because his goal has been determined. Not only his goal is determined, and he has established himself in that. So he has risen. If he has established himself in Brahma, one excellent thing that has happened is he has understood what is guna, he has understood what is sat, and guna is definitely not part of sat. Guna is temporary, guna is always something that will go up and down, always fluctuate, and one does not have to judge a person on his gunas, because internally the essence of the person is not touched by the guna. So Bhagavan says, na praharshet priyam. The one who is established in Brahma will not get delighted only when something is desirable, and he will not get dejected when things are not desirable. So let us see how we can apply it in our lives, because only use of studying the Bhagavad Gita is to see how it can apply to us in our daily life. So what is it that makes us get so delighted when something goes good, and what is it that makes us feel so unhappy when situation is not so good? So the very first thing is our expectations. We have expectations from different situations. When the expectation is met, that becomes desirable. When expectation is not met, then only it becomes undesirable, because that's not what you wanted, and you're doing an action because you want something that is desirable. You're not going to do any action if it is going to be an undesirable result. So this expectation, what is another word we can call it? Having an expectation is what actually? It's bhokta bhav, no? It's bhokta bhav. You are doing an action expecting a particular result. So that expectation is having the bhav that I will get something resulting from this. Yes or no? If you have bhokta bhav, have you done the purification process? No. Because if you have bhokta bhav, it automatically means you have karta bhav. Only when I have done an action, then I should get the result. Yes or no? So if there's bhokta bhav, that means there is still karta bhav. That means there is still an idea that I am a person who is doing this action, and because I am doing this action, I must get this particular result. So this is something we need to check in our lives. How many expectations do I have? Do I have expectations from people in my life? I have expectations from situations in my life. I have expectations from hundreds of different things. So this is why you are not having samadarshini now. You are not having equanimity of vision at this moment. If you are not having equanimity of vision, then you cannot yet be a man of wisdom, right? Secondly, why is it that I cannot, just be happy with whatever is happening and not get disturbed? Because because of this karta bhav and bhokta bhav, I'm still seeing myself as BMI. I'm still seeing myself as body, mind, intellect. I'm not seeing myself as Atma. That understanding has not yet established in us. Theoretically, we are understanding it. But when a situation occurs in our life, that understanding kind of lacks because we are not established in it. Then, let's say some things are undesirable, which we don't like, and everybody has some things which are There's nothing wrong in thinking that something is undesirable. Some adharma is there that is undesirable. Nothing wrong in knowing that this is dharma and this is adharma. There's nothing wrong in thinking this is a desirable thing. The problem is getting disturbed by it. The problem is getting perturbed by it. That is the issue. Not that something is desirable or undesirable. That is normal. It should be. If you are using your vivek, if you are using your discriminative faculty, you will know that this is dharma, this is adharma. That much you should know. This is desirable for me to do. This is undesirable for me to do. But to get disturbed, to get perturbed, that is the problem. So then every time something that comes in contact with us, it disturbs us. Anything that, if we have not controlled that ability to not react to that undesirable situation, then we will get tossed off. So that is the thing. We have to master our senses, we have to master our mind, and that all will happen when the mal and the vikshep has got cleared out. So, based on everything we have said so far, what we have to do is A. Have a goal. Laksh. We should have a goal for our life. Okay, my life has to go in this point. This is my end result, what I need in my life. That lakshya must be there. Then you have to go towards that lakshya. If you just have a goal and write it in your notebook, that's not enough. So you have to do some action to go there. See, you may have a Mercedes car, but until you start the car and Raju doesn't drive the car forward, you will not go there, right? So I must move. So how to move? For that you have to check your dharma. Have the goal, then see my action according to my dharma. What is my varna? What is my ashram? What is correct for me to do? What is incorrect for me to do? According to not manmani, dharma, according to dharma, right? Then what will happen? I will then obviously do my actions in karma yoga bhav. When I will do in karma yoga bhav, properly, perfectly, master it, what will happen? Mal and vikshep will get cleared out. Karta bhav will get cleared out. Bhokta bhav will get cleared out. Slowly, ahankar will diminish, become less and less and less, obviously with karta bhav going. Then we will not get so disturbed because we'll have understood We will understood what is Sat. We will have understood what is Asat. We will have understood gunas. We will have understood so many things. Why we don't understand now so much? Because we have not cleared Mal and Vikshep. That is the first part has to be done, right? When that will happen, it's a gradual process. You keep moving with a clear mind. Knowledge, which was theoretical, will become practical. It will be implemented. It will become your own experience. When knowledge becomes your own experience, we call it aparoksh anubhuti. Then what will happen? Bhagavan says no rejoicing when something pleasant happens, no getting disturbed when something unpleasant happens. When I say this now, and before also I've said many times, then I get questions. What kind of a person will you be? No emotion? You'll be some stoic person, like a stone you'll be, no rejoicing, no disturbance. I don't want to be like that. So is that how a Brahmavid will be? A knower of Brahma, will he be like that stone? Why? Why he will not be like that?
He will be split up prajna and show emotion still.
Okay, good. What else?
He's love. He's in joy.
He's in joy. Yeah, he's in joy. He's enjoying. He's in joy. Okay. It's going closer to what is the sentence in my mind?
Basically, he understands that he's Satchit Anand himself.
He is Satchit Anand. What is that word? Anand. Hello. He is the epitome of Anand. So it's not that he is going to not be in Anand. Now we have misunderstood this word Anand. I told you all once before also, this episode, I think you all will remember, when I was teaching another program which I will not mention, and the teacher, I was attending, I was volunteering, I can't remember, and the teacher wanted to show someone who is in Anand, he is realized, a self-realized person, always in happiness. And that person came and for 15 minutes he did ha 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 ha, literally, ha 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 ha. I'm thinking, this doesn't look like an enlightened person. So I was no one to judge, but I had to take that with a pinch of salt. It's being in Anand doesn't mean that you have to keep laughing and joking. You have to keep like guffawing and keep doing masti. There's another masti. There is another kind of masti. And that masti is to be in joy because you are free. That kind of freedom that comes from not being dependent on anything, not needing anything to be happy, innately happy inside, nothing having the ability to throw you off. Whatever may happen, it may be something unpleasant also. You may see it as unpleasant also, but you always can be sthir in that and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. Okay? So not at all, stoic, not at all stone-like, not at all gambhir, not at all like keep a face, serious face, everyone should look at me and know I am Brahmavid. Okay, so this person, Brahmavid, knower of Brahma. Brahma, Vid means knowledge, the one who knows Brahma. Why will he be in Anand? He will be in Anand because he is firmly established in the truth. Firmly established. Nothing can throw him off. Okay? No doubt, am I Brahmavid or not? That also you will not know. Your Guru will tell you whether you are Brahmavid or not. For you, it's a completely new experience. You don't even know. You have never experienced it before. So only your Guru will be able to tell you if you are Brahmavid or not. So this person will be completely in Anand No doubt, no confusion means Anand. Confusion, doubt means some problem is there. You will not be sthir. You will not be in Anand. Whenever you have a doubt, are you in Anand? When you are confused, are you in Anand? He is not confused, he has no doubt. Therefore, he is in Anand. And this Anand keeps him kutastha, established within and the highest possible place. Kutastha. He is kutastha, therefore he is in Anand. What is he kutastha about? What is he firmly established in? Aham Brahmasmi. Now that is not enough. It is not enough. To be established in Aham Brahmasmi is not enough till you see Tattvamasi also. It's not enough just to say I am Brahma. If you don't see that in the other person, then just be sure you are not at all established in that highest goal. So there's one word in there, sthira buddhi. His intellect will be steady, as Bhagwan says, one of the 4 lakshans. Whatever happens, whatever comes towards his buddhi, it will be sthira. How to describe sthira buddhi? Imagine an ocean. Okay, first imagine a lake. If lot of water comes into the lake, what will happen? Water will overflow. Imagine a river. If lot of water comes into the river, it will overflow. But if lot of water comes into the ocean, ocean never overflows. So your mind should be like the ocean that never overflows, no matter what comes in or what goes out also. Secondly, it should be like this in all situations. Not just in satsang. Not just when something favorable is happening. That nishtha will be there. Nishtha will be there, which will never overflow, never become less, nothing will happen. He will never be mistaken of his identity as Atma. He will never, ever after that, he will never think of himself as BMI. He will never think of himself as body, mind, intellect. He will always see himself as Atma. That doesn't mean he will not eat food. You'll say, Acha, if he is so convinced he is Atma, he is not the body, then why is he eating food? Why is he feeling hot? Why is he sweating? Why is he saying it's so cold, AC is too cold? Why is he saying all these things? That is vyavahar. That is, he's seeing that the body is feeling cold, the body is feeling hot, not I. That understanding between body and Atma is clear. He has no delusions for the source of his happiness. He knows very clearly that sansar ke jo bhi vishay hai, has no power to make me happy. No power. So when we say that he knows very clearly he is not the body, mind or intellect, means he knows if something unpleasant is happening or even pleasant is happening, it is happening to the body. It is happening to the body. If some emotions are there, it is the mind that is feeling the emotions. If some judgment is happening between Sat and Asat, he knows it's the intellect. But the Atma is not the body, Atma is not the mind, Atma is not the intellect. Then what is Atma doing? He is enjoying, enjoying witnessing the body, enjoying witnessing the mind, enjoying witnessing the intellect. So Bhagavan says, Brahmani sthita. This person lives eternally in identity with Brahma. That means he has become Jivan Mukt. Before that, he was a limited Jivatma. The limited Jivatma has become Jivan Mukt. In this life, while alive, does not have to wait for death. In this life itself, he has become merged with Brahma, what we call Brahmavit, Brahmeva Bhavati. The knower of Brahma becomes Brahma. See, if a river is moving towards the ocean, its water is easily identifiable as separate from the ocean. But once the river has entered the ocean, can you separate the waters? That is the same thing as merging with Brahma. Okay? He's aware not only of himself, but he's aware that everyone else also is actually that only, but they haven't yet merged with Brahma. They have not recognized their divinity. So that's understandable, these four lakshanas. Let's go to Shlok 21. Bhayasparsheshva satkama vindatyatmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukhamakshayam. He whose mind remains unattached to sense objects derives through meditation the sattvic joy which dwells in the mind or the antakaran. Then that yogi, having completely identified himself through meditation with Brahma, enjoys eternal bliss. It's a very nice shloka because it clears some doubts. Let's take the meanings. Asaktatma, with the mind unattached. Dhanraj, just take 4 books and give it at the back. Asaktatma, with the mind unattached, bahya sparsheshu, to sense objects. Bahya sparsheshu, to sense objects, with the mind unattached to sense objects. Vindati, gets. Sukham, bliss. So it means the one whose mind is unattached to sense objects, he gets bliss, Atmani, in the self. When there is no attachment to the sense object outside, mind is not attached to the Vishay, he is also getting Sukham. He is also getting bliss. Where? In the self. How? Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. He is getting this bliss through meditation on Brahma. Brahma Yoga Yukt Atma. 4 words are there together. He is getting the bliss through the meditation on Brahma. Ashnute, he acquires. akshayam, undecaying, that which cannot be destroyed. Akshayam. Sukham, again bliss. Let's read the English once again. He whose mind remains unattached to sense objects derives through meditation the sattvic joy which dwells in the mind. Then that yogi, having completely identified himself through meditation with Brahma, enjoys eternal bliss. First, when his sense and mind is not attached to the Vishay, he is experiencing sattvic joy. And then that yogi, that person who becomes completely identified with Brahma through meditation, he will enjoy eternal bliss. So, 2 steps are there. So, how can we enjoy this eternal bliss? First and foremost, we have to enjoy the sattvic joy. From after the sattvic joy, we will be able to enjoy eternal bliss. In this shloka, we are getting one tip. We are getting one technique. What is that? Do away with one habit and replace it with another habit. Okay, we are asking that. Bhagavan is asking us, if you take away this from your life, because everything is about implementing, right? You stop this, then you will get this. What I have to stop and what I have to get. What I have to stop or what I have to change is my habit of attaching my mind and my sense organs to the Vishayas outside. Good. Even they don't want us to change the habit. I have to take my mind and my sense organs away, unattach them from the outside objects for happiness. And then what I have to do? I have to find a greater happiness by meditating on Brahma. So there is a sattvic joy, outside Vishay gives me. Let's say it like this. There are 3 steps. Outside Vishay gives me pleasure. When I am unattached from the outside Vishay, I get sattvic joy. And then when I go within myself and I meditate and identify with Brahma, I get eternal bliss. So there are 3 steps over here. So why is it that we have to take our senses and mind away from outside Vishay? The word Vishay itself gives you the clue. Vishay has vish, poison. There is poison in this attachment to outside Vishay. What is that poison? It makes you dependent for your happiness on something outside. It's a poison because it's never going to give you that happiness lastingly. Then you have to have the Shraddha that if I do this process and when I reach the meditation on Brahma, there is a higher happiness waiting for me. That faith should be there. And another downfall is that I am trying to detach. This is harbadi. When we do harbadi in spiritual journey, we are trying to detach from Vishayas or sense objects without attaching to a higher anchor. Then you will fall completely into tamas. Because if you detach without attach, what will happen? Try detaching from the first step or second step of a ladder without attaching to the higher step, you will fall down. So in the same way, we are in a hurry and we say, oh, I must detach, I must do all the tapasya, I must not eat food, I must not do this, I must not do that. And you have not attached to that which is the Adhyaay. You have not attached to what is your own essence. Then what will happen? You will go directly into tamas. So we have to get unattached. Bahya sparsheshva saktatma. We have to detach our mind from sense objects. So now let's see what makes our sense objects so dangerous. So all objects in sansar, all vishayas in sansar are categorized into just 5 kinds of objects. And you all know this very well. Right? Right? What are they? Right. Roop. Let's take one. Roop. One kind of object is roop. So that's an object which is perceived as a form. And which sense organ is perceiving it? Eyes. So one sense organ perceives all the things in the entire sansar which has a form, roop. Then rasa. What is rasa? Taste. Perceived by the tongue. So everything that has a taste is perceived by the tongue. That's all objects which can be perceived by taste. Right? Then gandha. Let's say gandha. What is gandha? Smell. Everything that can be perceived by smell is perceived by nose. Let's take shabda. Shabda is what? Sound. Everything that produces a sound is perceived by ear. And sparsh. Sparsh is touch. Anything that can be perceived by the touch is perceived by the skin. Roop cannot be perceived by nose. Smell cannot be perceived by ears or eyes. Only one sense organ can perceive one kind of sense object. This is, we have done many times before and it's clear, right? Now that sense organ will go out into the sansar, take the shape or the sound or the sparsh or whatever smell and bring it into the mind. And the mind will then analyze, okay, ye hai, wo hai, whatever it will recognize. If there is no previous experience of that object, it will say, ye kya hai, I don't know it. So, it is the mind which is the culprit of our pleasure and displeasure. It is the mind who is going to tell me this is good or that is bad. Don't worry, it's okay. And that is what is causing bondage. That is what is causing our bondage. The sense organ is just doing the clerk's job, peon ka job, just bringing that perception inside. Then it goes into the antakaran. There all the gadbad, analyzing, interpreting, everything will happen in the mind. It will decide good, bad, ugly, whatever. And if you have not trained it to not get disturbed with anything pleasurable or anything displeasurable, then you will be bound over there. You will be bound. That is your bondage. So that is why our Shastras are saying, keep your mind unattached to the sense objects. Dekho, suno, taste karo, kuch bhi karo, but keep that mind unattached. You cannot walk around in the world with your eyes closed. You cannot walk around with your nose closed. You cannot walk around with your ears closed. The sense perceptions will come in, but it is the mind that will bind you because it is not yet trained to not stay unattached. Now when we say you keep your sense organs away from all sense objects, you keep your mind away, this scares spiritual seekers. It scares. No more pleasure, No more pleasure. I have to keep my mind away. I have to train it so I don't get pleasure. I don't get disturbance. I should not look for happiness. I should not look for unhappiness. This is all wrong, immature spiritual understanding. So, why are we getting scared of not getting attached to the pleasure? Because it's an integral part of our journey until we have got trained. So the first thing is fear of giving up pleasurable experiences. And this is a fact whether you accept it or not. You are afraid of no longer feeling pleasure or no longer having pleasurable experiences based on sense objects. And no matter how much someone will convince you, and Bhagwan is trying to convince you in this shloka itself that give it up. There is a greater bliss waiting for you. There is a greater anand waiting for you. You will not be convinced. You will not be convinced. So this is another FOMO. Your fear of missing out on my pleasurable experiences. Oh, what will happen? I can't eat any more chocolate cake. I cannot go to the restaurant. I cannot have my favorite whatever your favorite batata vadas are. So we don't want to stop our supply of pleasure. We don't want to, that's why we can't do without sugar. That's why until I have my one sweet after the dinner, my dinner is not complete. I need that one thing. Oh, I need that one thing before my meal. You know what I'm talking about. I need that one thing. I need this one thing. If I don't get that, I will not feel complete. So you are so afraid. You're so afraid. All my pleasure supply will go. Okay? So that's one reason why you don't want to give up attachment to sense objects. So those who are having trouble in the wellness group, check it out. What are you having FOMO of? Okay? Second, it's very difficult to change a habit. It's very difficult to change a habit. आदत हो गया, पान खाना ही है after food, chocolate खाना ही है after food, ये करना ही है, वो करना ही है. It's difficult. You have been doing it forever. Maybe from some previous lifetime also. And now I'm telling you, you cannot have, or you should not have. Bhagwan is telling you should not. You give up this pleasure which is attached to your pan or your cigarette or your drug or your whatever it is that you are attached to, right? And for that I have to do tapasya. And you don't want to do tapasya. Tapasya is difficult. You can't change that habit because changing that habit requires discomfort. And you have not developed titiksha. You have not developed your shat sampatti. You have not developed titiksha. How will you do tapasya? To do tapasya, you need titiksha to be able to endure this discomfort for your higher spiritual benefit. You have not developed emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Not gratifying an immediate desire for a future higher desire, a future higher happiness. We don't want to sacrifice immediate sense gratification. Even though someone is telling me in the future you will get higher, undecaying bliss. I don't know about that. I just know I need my chocolate right now. That's it. You don't want to be able to change. You don't want to change. And why is this so very dangerous? We say wish. Vishay mein hai wish. Because this kind of thought process is what causes greed. This is what causes addiction. When it's taken to the extreme, then see, addiction is not just being a drug addict or something. You can be an addict of sugar, you can be an addict of anything. So you can be an addict of comfort, you can be an addict of vishay, pleasure addict. So the other thing is, why is it so difficult? Because you don't value the change. You don't see the benefit of the change. We forget that all material pleasures are transient. All material pleasures are temporary. They have a beginning and they have an end. But that eternal bliss, he says, eternal bliss, and he calls it undecaying. It never decays, it never destroys, it doesn't have an end, it is permanent and it is liberating. But that understanding takes maturity of mind to understand. It requires nishtha in your goal, which is lacking. So there is one word in this shloka, Brahma Yoga Yukt Atma. Brahma, you know. Brahma Yoga, contemplation on Brahma, connection with Brahma. Then add to that Yukta, Brahma Yoga Yukta. Yukta, ever engaged, not just on the weekend, not just sometimes, continuous. Ever, yukta, you are joined. What is joined? Brahma, Yoga, Yukta, Atma. Atma meaning Antakaran. The mind is ever engaged in contemplation on Brahma. When that happens, continuous, then you will get Sukham, which is undecaying, Akshayam. Now, just be clear, what is this sukham? It is not the sukh of sleep. There also there is a sukh. Mind is not engaged, vishayas are also not there, intellect is also silenced, but it is not that sukham, because that sukham is you are unaware of it. It's tamas. Whereas this is sukham of meditation, where you are alert, where you are aware, where you are fully alive, where you are experiencing with all your faculties, even though they are not working, you are feeling it in every pore of your body, Aham Brahmasmi, which is not there in sleep. It is not. See, people say, I feel really good, I feel really good when I meditate. Then we don't know what you are experiencing there. Are you experiencing sleep? That also feels good. Or are you experiencing tamas? That you are so tired. Idhar aaya, thoda music chalaya. Not that also. Not that sukham also. Not that sukham. It's a sukham you will feel because you are in contact with the inner self. How to explain that? Impossible. You have to experience it yourself. There is no interruption. There is no disturbance. That contact is so pakka. No matter, even if that drilling goes on upstairs, you will still have that contact with your inner self. Even you will not even be aware of that. Of course, in sleep also you will not be aware, that's also there. So this is undecaying, it will not stop when you open your eyes also. And that's the difference. In sleep you will feel sukham. When you open your eyes, you will be again surrounded by all kinds of disturbances. One word from the spouse and that sukham will go. This sukham, no, वो कुछ भी बोलती जाए, बोलता जाए, no problem. My sukham is nothing to do with the outside. It's an innate joy from within. No matter what is going on outside, no matter. And you know what the Shastras say? They say that one drop of that sukham is greater than all the sukh of all people in all lokas, the earth, loka, swarga, everywhere. Whatever is that total sukham of everyone in every loka cannot equal the sukham, one drop of this sukham of meditating and being yukta with Brahma. And therefore, Bhagwan is suggesting, I am not suggesting anything, Bhagwan is suggesting, give up the pursuit of your happiness which is dependent on everything outside. Because there is a greater happiness waiting for you, higher than sattvic joy, because sattva is also binding. So higher than the sattvic joy is that joy within. But it cannot come just like that. It has to go through its own process. Okay? I'm not trying to convince you. It's up to you. Okay? Whatever you all want to do, I'm ready. Shlok 22. Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddhaha. The pleasures which are born of sense contacts are verily a source of suffering only. Dukkham. Though appearing as enjoyable to worldly minded people. They have a beginning and an end. They come and they go. Arjun, it is for this reason that a wise man does not indulge in them. Okay? So, this is a shloka for all the Arjuns here. Okay? Let us see the meaning. He, since bhoga, enjoyments, samsparshaja, born of sense contacts, eva, really, verily, dukkha yonaya, a source of suffering only. Adyantavanta, have a beginning and an end. Meaning up till here, because whatever enjoyment you are getting, whatever pleasure you are getting, because of your contact with the sense objects outside, they are really just a source of suffering. They are giving you, actually what they are giving you, think they are giving you pleasure, but actually, verily, they are a source of dukkha. They are a source of suffering. And they have a beginning and they have an end. So that is why now it says, Buddha, the wise man, na ramate, doesn't indulge, doesn't delight, doesn't get involved, teshu, in them. Bhagwan is now hitting the hammer home a little bit. Earlier shloka he said, don't bother with happiness from outside objects, because inside happiness, when you'll do meditation, it will be a higher bliss, undecaying bliss. But now he says, if you were not convinced with that, if you did not have that emotional intelligence to understand, okay, let me give up this immediate pleasure because a bigger pleasure is waiting for me later. He's telling you whatever you are attached to, this happiness of contact with the Vishais is not actually giving you sukham at all. It is giving you dukkham. It is giving you dukh. It is a source of suffering. So why it's giving me suffering? I to enjoy every day. When I have chocolate, I to enjoy. When I have this, I enjoy. When I have whatever else, whatever is your batata vada, you enjoy. Why? It's not suffering at all. So is Bhagwan telling a lie? If you have to see clearly, if you have to analyze your sukham, then you will realize that it is actually a source of suffering. So there are three kinds of dukkha. There are three kinds of suffering. You already know it very, very well. First kind of suffering is called adhyatmik dukkha. Adhyatmik dukkha is caused by what? Remember? Forgot? By your own mind, by your own body. You are only creating your body and your mind is only creating that dukkha, adhyatmik dukkha. Adhibhautik, creatures of sansar outside. That mosquito which is biting you, that virus which has come to put us in lockdown, adhibhautik. And adidevik, hand of God, natural disasters. So these are the three kinds of dukkha we get, the sufferings. They may be of three different kinds, but they are all caused by only one thing, and that is your ignorance. All dukkha is caused by ignorance of not knowing Aham Brahmasmi. It's all caused by thinking you are a body, mind, intellect. So let's see how it is a cause of suffering. Let us see. Because unless we know that, then we will not be convinced that we need to not be dependent on anything outside. So the first reason is that there is something called law of diminishing returns. Right? And it's applicable to all objects of sansar. So let's say you love gulab jamun. You eat one, wow, great sukham. Second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. By now, sukham is becoming quite dukham. 10th gulab jamun, complete dukham. So, if there was sukham, if there was happiness, if there was anand, in the gulab jamun, the first and the 10th should give me equal sukham. Where did that sukham go in the 10th gulab jamun? It was never there in the first place. So there is no joy, anand, happiness, pleasure actually there in any object. Swamiji, my Guruji, tells one example. It's from Vedant. He says the dog has great pleasure in chewing a dry bone. You see, you give a dry bone to the dog, they love, they like to chew. Where is the pleasure in that dry bone? It's dry. There is nothing there in that bone, yet it perceives joy. So where is that? Why is he so happy to chew that bone? That hard dry bone cuts its gums and the blood comes out from his own self, and he's enjoying that taste of his own blood, thinking that the taste is coming from the bone. Meaning, we also are chewing on dry bones. All our objects that we think are giving us pleasure are simply dry bones. For some time, temporary, for some time, as you are chewing on your dry bone, your vritti of desire is no longer pushing you eat, drink. That desire has for some little while, it has subsided. And when that desire, that vritti, that desire has subsided, it's relaxed, you are feeling your own joy. So the joy that you are actually thinking is coming from the gulab jamun, thinking it's coming from the chocolate cake, thinking it is coming from the batata vada, thinking that is coming from your relationship with your other half, that is coming from the money, that it's coming from the business, that it's coming from the yash, which is coming from the naam, whatever you think it's coming from, it is just your own innate joy, which is having a chance to express itself because your desire vritti is shant for few minutes. That's it. It is only a dry bone that you are looking for happiness in. What else? Why do we say that there is pain in the pleasure of sense objects? We say there is pain because before you get the object, there is pain. There is a yearning for something. I must have this, I must have that, I must have that. The pleasure that you are anticipating getting that object, before you get that pleasure, the pleasure is mixed with the pain of viyog. There is a pain of abhav. There is a pain of not yet getting. Yes or no? There is a yearning for something. There is a pain in that yearning also. And it need not be anything rajasic or tamasic. Even a sattvic desire, there is a yearning for it. You want peace. You want quiet. You want some whatever. Satsang, you're not getting. There is a pain involved in that also. You're in love with someone, let's say. You yearn to meet that person. Radha yearns to meet Bhagwan Krishna. Right? There is a pain in her yearning. So there is a pain in meeting anyone. There's a pain in getting something. So that there's a pain. The contact with anything outside is going to give you pain, suffering. Then, now you got it. You got your gulab jamun. You got your chocolate cake. You got everything. Now you enjoy. So nice. but somebody else got better than you, then that pleasure also has got a pain of jealousy. You know, we have done many times this patan business. Then you got so nice. Today also you'll taste one chocolate cake. Then you'll say, so nice. Now you'll want more. Amrita, can I have a second one? Can I have a third one? Can I have a fourth one? So that pleasure in the object creates greed. The more you have it and the more you see, wow, this is so good. Where did you get it? Give me the address. I also want to order. So that getting the object also will create greed. And when greed goes to another level, you will definitely suffer addiction. And sometimes a pleasurable experience also becomes a bondage with suffering. How? So you've enjoyed something. I like to give the example of a honeymoon. Sonia says, I have not experienced. She's doing like this. देख लिया मैंने. Good. Because in honeymoon, so much honey is there, so much happiness, so much joy, so much oneness, so much everything. And then, by the time you come home and all the bathroom has to be repaired and cook has not come and driver ka jhanjat, the honey goes away. Now, when you have to experience that same thing again, you will keep comparing to honeymoon mein to you were like that. Now you are like this. So the pleasurable experience that you've had any one time, if you keep comparing it with future situations, then this situation in the future, which is the same, hello, it's the same. But you're comparing it with a past experience of pleasure, it doesn't match up. So neither you are enjoying the now, neither you are just not enjoying the now, that's it. Then you are discontent with your spouse and you're discontent with your teacher and you're discontent with this experience, you're basically discontented. Because you're continuously comparing it with the pleasure of a past experience which was also pleasurable. So that pleasure, that happiness you got has become your suffering. Because you cannot always have the same experience again. Every experience needs to be seen independently. Comparing is a problem. So when you don't indulge in the sense object, the mind does get, if you don't connect your mind to the sense object, to the desire, to the pleasure, you will have one suffering, abhav, lack of that one object. If you don't indulge, you will have one suffering which you will have to bear with titiksha. But if you indulge, then you have all these 6 different sufferings. If you indulge, you'll have 6 different sufferings. If you don't indulge, you'll simply have one suffering, which is abhav, lack, which you have to train through titiksha and tapasya to overcome. Why should I do it? Are it's your goal, not mine. You want to reach your goal, you do it. You don't have to do it for me. Okay, so there's dukh of fear of loss, there's dukh of greed, there's dukh of jealousy, there's dukh of fear, there's dukh of envy, there's dukh of addiction, there's dukh of greed. So many dukhs are there when you indulge. When you don't indulge, one dukh, abhav, lack, which you have to overcome. So all these reasons is what makes one bound to sansar, because these are vasanas and they will be coming with you in your next life. At the time of death, if you do not remove these vasanas, if you do not eradicate these vasanas, they are going to come in your next life also. Then same dukh over there also. Continue. Huh? Another reason, Bhagavan says in this shloka, why it is a cause of suffering is the word adyantavantaha. These pleasures with the sense objects have a beginning and they also have an end, and that is also another cause for them to be dukhi, source of dukh, source of suffering. So beginning means what? Beginning is when you begin the contact with the Vishay. That is the beginning. Your suffering has a beginning as it is the beginning of the contact with the Vishay. And end is when it is impermanent, it ends. That pleasure ends. So the beginning is the beginning of the pleasure and the end is the end of the pleasure, because it's temporary, na? It's not permanent. Any pleasure, any sukham which you are getting from a contact with any Vishay will have a beginning, that is the beginning of your contact, and it will also have an end, which is the end of the contact, and that will cause you suffering. So, one of the laws you can say, or teachings we can say, which we have studied before also in Vedanta, what is truth and what is untruth. Truth is that which will always exist. Sat we call it. What is Sat? That which will always exist. But the contact with your sense object is not always existing. They are saying Adyantavanta. It has an Adi and it has an Anta also. It has a beginning also and it has an end also. So therefore it is not Satta. Therefore your pleasure is an illusion, not truth. It is an illusion of happiness. Any Vishay, gulab jamun, it has a beginning, the pleasure has a beginning, you put it in your mouth. The pleasure has an end, khatam. Therefore it cannot be Sat. Then there is another law also we learn teaching in Vedanta. That which is in the beginning of anything and that which is at the end of anything, if it's the same, then in the middle also it has to be the same. Clear? Whatever is in the beginning and whatever is in the end, if it's the same, that means whatever is in the middle also is going to be the same. Now, beginning and end. So, beginning we already discussed, gulab jamun, pleasure is mithya. Ending also mithya. Therefore, the pleasure you are getting in the middle while eating also, that is also mithya. In the beginning, mithya. In the end, mithya. Middle also mithya. Therefore, it is if the happiness is a mithya, not true, that means it is a suffering. If it is not happiness, then it is unhappiness. So that is why Bhagavan is saying enjoyments born of sense contacts are an illusion. They are temporary and not worth getting attached to. You want happiness? Take permanent happiness, no? It's there for you. Where is it? inside me only. Hello. It's inside me only. I just have to look for it. I just have to discover it. So even in the animal kingdom, the same lessons are given in Shrimad Bhagavatam. It's very clearly made. So there are 5 teachings. You know this also. So a hunter goes in the jungle. He wants to catch a deer. He's a hunter, shikari. He wants to catch a deer. Now how is he going to trap the deer? He knows that the deer loves a particular kind of music. So he plays that music. When the deer hears that music, the deer comes towards the hunter to look for that music and he is trapped. Okay? A moth loves light. When he sees a bright light, the moth immediately flies towards the light and he's so attracted to the light that he burns himself by jumping into that fire. A male elephant, a hunter wants to catch a male elephant. He knows that when the male elephant is in masti, it will be attracted to the female elephant. So they create one trap, and so by the sparsh of that female elephant, he falls into the trap and he is caught. Then, so skin through the touch. Then a fish. Fish wants to keep looking for food. He sees the hook down, by immediately it wants to eat the food. By the taste, by the eating, it has got trapped. And the honeybee. Honeybee loves the smell. It's attracted to the smell. So it goes into the lotus flower and is so entranced by the smell in the lotus flower that he doesn't want to leave it. But the lotus flower at sunset, if you didn't know, closes its petals. And even though he knows that the petals are going to close soon, one more sip, one more sip, one more sip, one more smell, and he gets trapped. So each animal is getting trapped just by one sense organ. Which one? The deer is getting trapped just by the sense of hearing. The moth is getting trapped just by the sense of sight. Elephant is getting touched by the sense of touch. Fish is getting killed by the sense of taste. And honeybee is getting stuck by the sense of smell. One sense. And we, the supreme creation of the universe, five senses all ready to trap. We have to be more careful because we don't have to just take care of one sense organ. We don't have to take care of just one sense faculty. We can be trapped by all 5. And Manusmriti says very clearly, even if you have trained 4 of your sense faculties, I have become very tapasvi. I have trained this. Only 1 is left now. That is enough. That is enough. Even 1 sense organ, 1 sense faculty not trained is enough to make you have full. Because 4 if you have trained, you are a big tapasvi. You are. You have done good sadhana. But just don't be lacking in that 1. Don't think just 1. Bhagwan, just see 4 I have done now. Not like that. Bhagwan, it has nothing to do with me, Babu. It's your organs, your tapasya, your sadhana. Don't involve me. I am not involved. I am not going to do anything lenient for you and give you grace marks for one sense organ. It is your sense organ, it is your sadhana, it is your tapasya, it is your goal. Hello. It is your sukham. It is your anand, not mine. Right? So Manusmriti says, if a man indulges excessively in the objects of enjoyment of even one of his sense organs, his intellect gets destroyed. Even if you indulge in one sense organ, your intellect gets destroyed. Just as a leather bag filled with water gets drained completely if it has even one hole. One hole. Forget leather bag, now we don't know. One bucket. One small hole, eventually it is going to get drained out. So the mind is the 11th organ. 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action. Mind is generally taken as the 11th organ. Why? Because it is controlling all the other 10. Mind is collecting all the perception and mind is also giving all the interpretation. So Bhagavan says, learn from the wise man. What did he say? What is the thing? Arjun, it is for this reason that a wise man does not indulge in them. Wise man, Buddha. So you want to be a wise man, surely. Or you want to be Mudha. So don't waste your life. Don't waste your life in temporary sukham. Don't waste time also being happy you have found sattvic sukham. It's not the end of the journey. It's not the end of the journey. Don't be so happy, now I am very sattvic. No, it's not the end of the journey. There is still more to go. You have to become yukta with Brahma. Don't focus on the outside. Be like the tortoise. When the danger comes, bring your limbs inside. Bring your head inside. Know your goal. Guys, you cannot start this without knowing your goal. You cannot. There is no way. You cannot have nishtha. Your sadhana will not last. If your sadhana is not lasting, if your sadhana is continuously, sometimes I am doing, sometimes I am not doing, that means there is no nishtha in the goal, whatever it may be. It could be fitness goal, it could be health goal, it could be any goal. I am not talking only about moksha. Moksha is bahut dur, Delhi is very dur still. Any goal, whichever goal you have, if you are not established, if sometimes you are doing and sometimes you are not doing, then whatever that goal is, first get nishtha. How to get nishtha? You have to have value in that goal. You have to see the value, the benefit of that goal. Then you will be able to stick with it. Shraddha is needed. Nishtha is needed. And you should know where the happiness is. If you don't know where the happiness is, you will always be looking for it in the wrong place. Where is the happiness? Inside, right? So that is all. That is all you have to do. Nothing more. Some tapasya may be needed. If you benefit, if you understand the value, you will do the tapasya also. It's not difficult. All of you have strength of body and mind. The way you all come with me to Mira Road and do tapasya and work in the middle of the night, we sleep for hardly 1 or 2 hours putting up the Sant Sammelan for Swamiji, the way you all work and you can bear that kind of sleeplessness, eating lessness or whatever, you have it in you. You have it in you. You just have to use it for the right purpose, that's all. Use it for your own highest good. Understand what is guna. Understand guna is not you. Understand you have to rise above your gunas. That is important. Samaj. I just go with that word samaj. If you want to rise above the sukham that your sense organs and your mind is getting from the outside vishay, you need to restrain it, right? You need to control it. You need to rise above it. If you rise above it with samaj, it will last. If you try to do it with willpower, it will be very tough. I'm not saying impossible. I'm not saying impossible, but it's very, very tough because at some stage, in asavdhani, when you are not fully in control, your willpower will break like a dam, ill-constructed dam. So Bhagavan says, it is only such a wise man. Now you know what all is needed. What Bhagavan is saying, only such a man, wise man, can sit for successful meditation. He's building up for the 6th chapter. Because his mind will not be constantly getting disturbed by outside objects and inside vrittis. Don't look so serious. It's possible. No FOMO, don't worry. Sadhana. Shall I tell you? Just examine your love affair between your sense organs and your sense objects. We all have a love affair going on. You are so attached by your mind and your faculties with the objects outside. Are yaar. See where you went immediately. I said love affair and yes, zoom your mind. Examine your connection between your sense organs, your mind and the objects outside. So you will, just because you sat for one satsang, it doesn't mean that your sense organs and your mind will not run. That's why I said love affair, because it runs to the objects. It's not that it will stop. So you will go. You will, why should I say it so emphatically? You may go to the objects. When you will go, I want you to do this. When you will go to that, indulging in that object, I want you to honestly evaluate how much pleasure and how much suffering you got from it. Because it's a process. In the beginning, there will be pleasure. Then see, is there any sukham followed by dukkham? If you have indulged in one chocolate piece, has that suffering of one more piece happening or not happening? One more piece, just one more, half piece, one bite.
Now, but you can put samaj into that and say, I will eat chocolate in moderation. I will have it one piece now, next week I will have another piece.
Good. If you put samaj, you can do it. That's what I also said. But you need samaj. How many people are successful doing this? I will have one piece now and one piece next week. Put your hand up if it's working for you.
Sometimes.
3 people. 3 people. I counted 4 people. Huh?
That initially, if you just stop yourself by doing tapasya, then automatically the samaj comes. At least to me, that is the way.
That's what I'm saying. Whichever way you want to bring your samaj in, bring it in. Samaj will help you, take you on the long run. Willpower will work for some people who are have a lot of manobal. If you have a lot of manobal, your willpower will work. I'm not saying it won't work, but it's a tough one. Samaj, if it comes in, it's very easy. Samaj is always backed by nishtha in your goal. If you have nishtha in your goal, the samaj will also come. It's not that easy to just say, I will have one. And if it's working for you, that you have one today and another one next week. That means you have you have placed good value in your restraint. There is a benefit, you have a nishtha in your goal. And that's what I'm also saying. If you have nishtha, it will work. If you see the value and the benefit in what you're doing, it will work. If you don't have that benefit, if you don't see the value, and besides that, if you don't have a goal only, then none of this can work. Any questions? Anything you would like to clarify? Yeah.
About Ashtavakara's advice of seeing sense objects as poison not being the most desirable way to go.
That's what our whole shloka is about, that only. See the wish in the Vishay. Don't see the Vishay as a source of Amrit. That is the same thing. See it as wish.
In the Bhagavad, you said the examples of the animals. So even they have five senses and perception.
Some animals have 5, some have 4, some have 3, some have 2, some have 1, depending on the levels where they are. But we care what animals have. We have to see what we have. We have 5, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 7 also. हमको क्या है? हमारे पास 5 है, उसको control करने का है बस.
The start of discourse, you explain us the categorization of action, action with desire, awareness, and meditative.
Yeah.
So my question to seek clarification is, where does an action which is with desire but without selfish desire, and an action which is prompted out of sense of duty?
Second one, desireless.
If it's not selfish.
If it is not selfish desire, it is welfare for everyone. It is considered as the second one.
So whenever we use the term desire,
It is always selfish desire. Yeah.
But like when you're doing your duty also, at times you do have this, like you're discharging your duty and you know that it is your duty as per your dharma and your ashram. But you may have this, right, that if I don't do it, then it's not correct. It may harm me only in the long run. So is that also a selfish thought?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Duty and responsibilities can be done with a desire and without desire also. Both ways it can be done. Yes? Anything? Anyone? Good. Enjoy your sadhana for this fortnight. I'm asking you all to enjoy the pleasure. I didn't tell you don't have the pleasure. Enjoy the pleasure, but then evaluate. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Jai Gurudev. God bless everyone.